Good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing today on another hot summer day? I am Karen Wilder. I'm the dietitian here at Cedarfield, and as you can see, today we have a special guest. This is Kathy Nguyen. She is a dietetic intern working with me, and you all know I love my interns, so we're certainly very happy to have her. She's doing a 2-week rotation here at Cedarfield to learn about kind of more so the healthcare side of things, to learn about long-term care and geriatric nutrition, but we're trying to involve her in as many aspects of Cedarfield as possible to see, what a great place we have here and all of the wonderful things we have to offer. So we're happy to have her. So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you went to school, where you're from, where you're doing your internship, stuff.
Yeah, sure, Karen. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
I am Kathy Nguyen. I am from Northern Virginia, born and raised there, and I went to James Madison University for my undergraduate career, and now I'm at VCU Health. I'm trying to be a dietitian just like Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kathy's going through the same program that I did, so we have a lot to kind of relate to, and I love being able to not only teach my interns about nutrition and long-term care, but then also kind of, give them pointers and mentor them through, kind of give them some outside advice, maybe off the, under the table advice about the internship. So, and taking the exam, and so I always enjoy that part of having interns as well. So tell us a little bit about why you wanted to be a dietitian, and what do you think you want to do as a dietitian?
Yeah, so originally, I wanted to work inpatient. However, as I've experienced new things, I think I did want to do some clinical outside work, possibly in long-term care or in outpatient oncology. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's great.
But there are so many things that I enjoy. It's just very hard to choose. So
yes.
I'll find my niche sometime.
You
soon.
will. Yes, I know. I'm still, I feel like I've kind of found it here at Cedarfield, even though this was not a niche I ever thought I wanted to work in. So you gotta have an open mind too sometimes. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been told, and that's why I'm doing it. Yeah.
Good. All right, so Kathy's going to take over today, and she has prepared a topic for us, and it's pretty exciting. I like fun facts and exploring different aspects of nutrition, so I think she has got a great topic that I'm excited to talk about. So I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks. So first off, I'm going to show everyone the healthy plate. I'm sure many of you have heard about this plate. It encompasses, fruits, vegetables, grains, dairy, and protein. Today, we're going to be focusing on the protein aspect because, as you know, it's very healthy and beneficial to older adults such as yourselves. Good for skin integrity, immune system health, and muscle health, body strength, and weight management.
Yep.
Yeah, so some common sources of protein include, chicken, fish, eggs, and other protein sources that are not as common include legumes, oats, nut butters, and seeds. And we're going to get into a topic about how there are many different proteins around the world that are fairly uncommon as well, and just interesting in themselves. Yeah, so can you name any of the uncommon sources that are found around the world, Karen?
Well, I can talk about, we talked last year, I think I was telling you, it was last year, I think, when the big cicada, whatever, bloom or whatever you call it, happened, emergence out of the ground. We did talk about on this show how insect-based protein is becoming very popular. It's already pretty popular around the world, and now it's we're making a push for it to become more popular and accepted here in the United States because it's a very sustainable source of protein. As we kind of look towards the future and how to, maintain a sustainable food system. So there's always, fun exploration with crickets and grubs and cicadas.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd personally like to try that, and I'm not a picky eater, but I mean, it's worth the try one day because it's an available source for sure. Yeah, I heard they had they eat crickets in China. They fry them and they eat them with vegetables, rice, and whatnot. Very interesting. Yeah. I personally have heard of shark. I'm sure, it's not too uncommon here. I think I had it in Virginia, but it tastes like chicken. And I feel like a lot of those things too, like frog legs and whatnot. Yeah. But other things around the world. So one thing I heard about in Spanish class in high school was fried guinea pigs. And they eat those in Peru. I've never tried them. I've never been to Peru. But they fry them. They eat them with potatoes and vegetables, and probably tastes like chicken too.
I'm sure probably.
Earlier, Karen and I were talking about hakarl from Iceland. Can you tell us more about that?
I don't know too much about it, but from what I've heard from friends who visited, I have a lot of friends who've been to Iceland. So it's sharks. It's shark. They'll catch them for shark or whatever, and then they hang it. And there's something about letting it decompose, and I don't know, if that's supposed to help the present. I don't know what it does to the meat or whatever, and why that's the way they do it. But they hang it and they let it decompose for months, and so then it develops this ammonia taste, something like you were saying. I don't know. And apparently it's a popular delicacy in Iceland and probably other Scandinavian regions. I have not tried it because I haven't been up there, but I know people, when they go, that's kind of one of the things you have to try. But I mean, any kind of fish or animal-based meat is going to be a great source of protein. So whether it's something we're accustomed to eating or whether it's something that was probably just adapted out of living off the land, it's protein's vital, and it's all good protein. So and as we talked about before, protein sources not only come from animals, they also come from soy products like tofu. I personally love tofu. When I was in Vietnam, I was able to have a fresh bowl of tofu that someone had made in the morning, and then they had delivered it to us, and it's this tofu dish that is very silken and soft, and you pair it with a sugar, what is it called, a sugar slurry type of thing, and it has ginger as well, and you just eat it like a dessert, and it's amazing. Ooh, that sounds good.
It is so good. I love it. But that's one of the things that I like eating personally. You can also use tofu in stir fries and soups and whatnot. And it's fairly affordable as well.
It is, Tofu, it's affordable, and it's also very versatile, like you're saying.
It is.
It really absorbs the on its own, it's not very flavorful, and I think that's why people tend to shy away from it. But if you, think about it like meat, where you can marinate it, you can, season it, you can do all kinds of things with it, and then people kind of will use it in place of scrambled eggs. You can kind of use it in place of sliced meat. You can do a lot of different things with it. And they have some that are more crumbly, and there are some that are more firm, so you can use them different ways. So it is incredibly versatile. So it's a great alternative for, as a meat product.
Right.
But in a good source of protein.
Adding to that, they have it in firm, silken, soft forms. It's as she said, very versatile, and you can use it in basically anything. I use them in my smoothies actually. As a source of protein, and it doesn't really taste like anything because the fruit just takes over.
Good idea, instead of yogurt or something.
It is, and it's just, it makes it a smooth, thicker texture, and that's why I really like it.
So if you're a smoothie maker, you might try tofu.
Yeah, definitely. I recommend it. Let's see. So frog legs, they have them in France, and I believe in other European countries as well. They saute the frog legs, and I believe they eat it with some lime leaves, and then some lime as well. So that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know where I'm from in South Louisiana, we eat them too. Of course, we fry it because we fry everything in South Louisiana, and it's probably Cajun seasoned and not with lime or anything like that, fancy things. But yeah, I don't think I've ever eaten one, but I know my parents used to order them all the time at some seafood restaurants. So.
Yeah. I remember when I was little, I picked up, something that looked like a chicken leg of some sort, but it ended up being a frog leg. And, as a child, you're just like, bleh, like this is frogs. I can't eat this. But, when I didn't know what it was pretty tasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, that being said, there are just so many different cultures that eat different things that are available to them. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And that does raise a good point. Like, I think what we consider normal might be totally strange to someone in another country, and then vice versa. So I think the key is to just be more open-minded to, different sources of protein, especially like we're talking about with the insects and things like that, or maybe like frog legs or shark or, some of these different things, culturally could be more widely accepted. So, and I know there are a lot of like regulations about certain foods that can't cross, borders and things like that. But, when it's feasible, I think we would be doing ourselves a favor by trying some new things. And so, it can be sustainable, it can just be fun and adventurous, it can be a lot of affordable, it can be for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Karen. I love living by that little idea that, just trying new cultures' foods, being open-minded to everything, and just appreciating, like, just being on this earth and being able to try new cool foods. I just love that.
Yeah, and we have the ability now with, to ship things pretty, easily. I know there's a restaurant here in Richmond where they ship in meat from New Zealand, every week or every day. I don't know how. It's pretty frequent because they have fresh lamb burgers and things like that. So, I mean, the abilities nowadays are great. But of course, we want to balance, supporting our local agriculture and economy too. So, a little bit.
Yeah. I love that.
Good. I'm trying to think if I can think of any other interesting protein sources, that I've heard of.
I feel like goat.
Oh yeah,
goat is a pretty common one, but I think it's new and up and coming as of these days, because I feel like it's found a lot in like Indian cuisines and Middle Eastern cuisines as well. So I just recently tried it a couple of years ago, and it's very good, but it does have a distinct acquired taste to it that I think I like more. I kind of stray away from that taste whenever I smell it, but I think when it's covered with a lot of spices, it tastes pretty good to me.
Oh, I know when I went to Alaska a few years ago, there were all kinds of like buffalo meat and elk meat. So I think we had pizza with buffalo pepperoni on it. So that was pretty neat.
That sounds interesting. What does it taste like?
It was kind of like regular beef, but maybe had a little, like a tang to it or like spice to it or so. But it was good.
Yeah, that sounds so interesting. I'm trying to find out what I ate that was very interesting. I think I'm a big seafood person. Yeah. I know a lot of people haven't. You tried octopus for the first time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when I was in Portugal, I had octopus, and it was delicious. I'd recommend it. Yeah, I was a little afraid because I thought the little tentacle thingies were a little scary, but they were fine, and it was delicious.
Yeah, the octopus and seafood is a great source of protein as well. In Korea, they actually eat them live. Oh, wow. They are actually still moving and still raw, and they eat them, and apparently it's delicious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, good. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'll eat a raw oyster, but nothing that's moving. That kind of.
Yeah, I understand that. That's totally understandable. Yeah. Raw oysters are so good. I was gonna say another food that I've tried that's not very common, but I forgot.
That's all right.
Yeah. Well, if you guys know of any other protein, interesting food sources, just comment below and share with us. And we'd love to hear all about it. Yeah. And if there isn't anything else that Karen wants to add.
I was going to just add a quick little summary from a nutrition standpoint.
Yeah.
Because I always have to give the nutrition spin. But
yeah.
So protein is definitely incredibly vital to all of us, but especially our older adults. But and as we've discussed, like protein comes from animal sources, but then also plant-based sources. So one thing to keep in mind is that our proteins from animal sources also tend to have a lot of saturated fat, which is the fat we should definitely limit, because that's the one that can contribute to higher cholesterol and heart disease. We don't have to avoid it or completely cut it out, but we definitely want to eat it in moderation. So if you are experimenting with a lot of new proteins or animal-based proteins, you just want to make sure you're finding the leaner, less fatty proteins and focusing more on those, and then just limiting those really fatty fats like ground beef and like the marbled beef and things like that. So just something to keep in mind, but definitely experiment and explore. And then of course, if you are trying to limit your saturated fats, plant-based proteins are all the rage right now. They're definitely having a moment, so there's no shortage of plant-based proteins and products out there for you to try as well. So but yeah, thank you so much, Kathy. You did a great job. That was some really interesting information. And yeah, if we would love to hear if you've traveled around the world and tried some kind of interesting proteins or other foods. I'm always interested to hear about them. And if you have any questions about protein and whether you're getting enough, do you need more, how much do you need, things like that, of course, I'm always available to answer your questions. So we'd love to hear from you, and we hope you have a great week. I think I will be here with us next week, so we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.